What is the perfect vault? Now that is a question I asked many months ago in another video that I did on the channel that you guys really seem to like. So with the completion of our latest vault playthrough coming to an end at an 83 whopping episodes, I thought it would be time to revisit this topic for several reasons. The main reason to do another video is because the video is just outdated. It was released in a time where quests didn't exist, so that version is just extremely dated when it comes to a proper setup. Another reason to redo it is because at the time it was a theoretical concept of what a perfect vault could and would be. There are several flaws in it, included and not limited to having too many resource rooms, among many other things. Now, just like in the first video, I'll be using Google Docs files for the pictures that I made myself, and there'll be a link in the description if you'd like to mess around with that for yourself. Now, this video will be broken down into sections, including a resource production section, the training/crafting section, and then the storage section. Before we begin, this is what each square will represent when looking at the diagram. Now, it's self-explanatory, but this is what a 2 wide, 3 wide, dirt section, and elevators will look like on the chart. Also, remember that this is my opinion, and what someone else's idea of the best vault could be, it could be vastly different. This is just a proven setup that has worked for me, and I'll do my best to explain the parts that you can move around and change if you desire to do so. But with all that in mind, let's get started. Resource production is the meat of the vault. It keeps it going and keeps your meters full. You can see from a quick glance that I have 5 3-wide nuclear reactors, 4 2-wide Nuka-Cola bottlers, 2 each of 3-wide gardens and water purifiers, 2 3-wide med bays, and a single 2-wide science lab. Next to the vault door is a 2-wide storage room. That and the vault door house a total of 6 17 endurance trained dwellers with dragon's maws equipped so they can just easily fend off any attack. And after that, you have well-equipped power rooms if incidents make it that far, and the elevator setup on the first floor will make it to where the death claws or whatever's attacking will have to backtrack to the storage room, essentially giving that room 2 times to attack. 5 total power rooms are more than enough. Now, rad scorpions are terrible for power drain, but if we're being honest with each other, rad scorpions are going to destroy your power no matter what your setup is. They're vastly overpowered in that aspect, but with well-trained dwellers rushing to get the power back with this kind of setup, if they're well trained, it's no problem at all. Next up is food and water production. And honestly, the 4 2-wide Nuka-Cola bottlers are probably enough for the entire vault. The 2 gardens and water purifiers are pretty much only there for looks. I just find it aesthetically pleasing to me, but they are not required. You could be much more efficient if you didn't have them, so feel free to leave them out if you don't want to waste the time training dwellers or you don't want to waste the space. At the bottom, we have 2 3-wide med bays that produce 24 stim packs together, 12 apiece, giving us more than enough to stock our 25 explorers and 3 quest teams. We also have a single science lab to produce radaways. Let me just go ahead and say that I only have 25 max storage on radaways, and while you might think you need more, you most certainly do not. I would say roughly half of my explorers and all of my quest teams are able to be supplied with 10 or so radaways, and the production is so good that I never need storage. Now, this is the one room I'd recommend a +7 outfit in, but other than that, you could take away some of the dump med bays if you really wanted to, and you could have more storage, but I don't think you should. A max level, max stat explorer with no extra points in endurance can survive a full wasteland ship with only 6 radaways or so, so it's definitely not needed, especially when you're producing 9 every 2-3 minutes or something like that. This section is simple. It's where the training rooms for my dwellers are found, along with the barbershop, radio rooms, and 2 each of maxed out weapon and outfit workshops. This section is catty-cornered because this is where your level 1 dwellers are going to reside and train. In an in-game vault, pretty much any incident will just wipe them out instantly, and being able to evacuate them somewhere else and just letting the accident phase out is the way to go, in my opinion. At the top, we have 2 radio rooms. Now, these aren't here for happiness, but instead I use them as a way to incite wasteland attacks for when you have those objectives pertaining to deathclaws, feral ghouls, raiders, and stuff like that. You just pop it when it's ready, and there's a high chance something will attack. The dwellers that come with this room aren't any good at all, and they're always evicted, so keep that in mind if you don't want to just constantly have to evict somebody, or you're at a 200 limit or something like that. Between those is a barbershop. I think this is also optional, but let's be honest, most dwellers look incredibly stupid and you'll want to change them. Now for me personally, I like to set up all my females in surgical masks and give the males beards. I also really like the way the ghoul mask looks on some dwellers as well. Now it's not just all about aesthetics, but I do think you will want one just because there are a handful of objectives that pertain to the barbershop. Under that, we have 2 3-wide living quarters to have a place in sort of the middle of the vault to store extra dwellers or make some babies, you know what I'm saying, if we need them, and there's not much else to say about that. At the very top and the very bottom, we have our weapon and outfit crafting going on. This is where you make all of those wonderful legendary items and spend all of that junk that you're hoarding up. And last but not least, between the top workshops is an overseer's office, obviously to allow access to quests. This section is really straightforward. It's where I have a ton of empty rooms with the only purpose, its sole purpose, being to extend my storage limit on various things. Here you will find a total of 13 3-wide storage rooms, 7 2-wide med bays, and 3 additional 3-wide living quarters, and that will give you a 1700 total storage limit for items, 205 stim pack limit, and it will make the vault hit its 200 dweller limit. Now on the subject of storage, I will say that some people think you need an absurd amount of storage. I've seen vaults that have like 5,000 storage for whatever reason, and I've came close to maxing out my 1700 limit, but honestly, as long as you're just crafting semi-consistently and not just hoarding common junk, useless weapons, or useless outfits, you should be fine. There is no need to have any more than 10 or so of common junk at any time at this stage in the game, and unless you need like a really specific rare piece of junk, I suggest you limit all of those to about 50. Now just for an example, globes come to mind as being one of the exceptions because they are used for some pretty good armor and dragon's maws, and you'll just want to hoard as much of those as possible. So that's the vault, guys. Here is the full picture if you would like to see, and here is a really quick recap for you guys. At the top section you have resource productions. The gardens and water purifiers are not needed, but I just like to look at them. I also think you only need a single science lab and should focus the extra med storage for stim packs over radaway storage. After that you have the training section, which is catty cornered to allow for accident evacuation along with weapon and outfit crafting. The radio rooms are here to be used as deathclaw bait for objectives, and the bottom part of the vault is purely to inflate our storage numbers. I would also like to say that I have a Mr. Handy on pretty much every floor. I think having them in the production area is of the utmost importance at this stage in the game, but I have them everywhere, including the empty dump section at the bottom of my vault. While saying this is the perfect vault is absolutely subjective, I will say that this has carried me through a complete survival guide 100 quests and allowed me to easily restock and resupply a constant stream of 25 explorers and questers for months and months on end. I even think I made it to about 64 dragon's maws inside the vault before I got bored of just making them and decided to call it quits. What I'm really trying to say here is that you can mess around, you can create your own version, but this is what I personally tried and tested over many months, and it's been a wonderful setup. It's been very good to me, and it's just produced a lot of good results for me. And remember guys, if you would like discussion on the most important stats, what stats do, the best pets, the best weapons, best outfits, and any other video like that, the link will be in the description for the playlist, and you can also find that on my channel as well. And stay tuned next week for 2 more Fallout Shelter videos, and as usual, if you enjoy this content, hit that like button because it helps out the channel the most. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will catch you guys on the next one.